it's me, Christina, the author of the Psalms of Fire and Fury adult high fantasy series. That's also my cat, and here comes Benjamin, trotting in like he always does when he hears me talking. And today we're gonna get pretty nerdy again with the map. But this time, we're just gonna talk about an entire country briefly. Anyway, the country of Odessin is a cold desert country. It's also the sworn nemesis and one-time ally of the northern country Craigie, aka fictional Scotland, but colder with more girls. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the country, kind of how its history, how it came to be, and the role Odessin currently plays within the series. So, roll it. I don't know why I said roll it, because it's literally just gonna be me talking again while Hermione does some fuck shit. Please hold, we're gonna take a cat break. Okay, cat break's done. Theoretically, I'm gonna have to do this. So the country of Odessin is steeped in a ton of mystery around its origins and its current existence. It has a ton of rugged mountains where the Dragon's Tower, which is its capital city, is located in. So the Dragon's Tower actually used to be a mountainous prison that was built by prior kings in order to house the worst of the worst people, as well as just the undesirables and people that they being leadership throughout the country just didn't want around them. And there's a lot of social commentary that I have about that, because as an abolitionist I have a lot of opinions. We can talk about that and the allegory with that in another video. So during the conquest 700-ish years ago, Krishna the Unforgiving, one of the Alvarian siblings, was a dragon rider, right? So she had this sand dragon who had crackling powers that would crackle a lot of heat and power instead of just normal fire. So Krishna the Unforgiving fought in one of the final conquest battles to try to tame the Isles of Ashar, and they were very unsuccessful in that. And during the final throes of battle, Krishna and her dragon were pulled down into the sea by the sea serpents as well as the krakens that guard Ashar, and her dragon Romiar died. And she, luckily Krishna was saved, or unluckily, and she was taken by her sister Gwendolen to safety and to try to continue to live and conquer and become one of the leaders within the country, or within the new country. Krishna did not have any of that. She was just massively depressed. She was angry. She was livid. She was going crazy. And so she locked herself up in the Dragon's Tower. Originally, I should have corrected myself earlier. Originally, the Dragon's Tower was built not technically as a prison, but just as a tower. She locked herself up in the Dragon's Tower for years and years and years until she died, and made that her prison before it was anybody else's. She turned it into her isolated refuge. She guarded Romiar's unhatched eggs until she died, and nobody actually knows what happened to those eggs and where they are at to this day. And of course, just as a reminder, this is a lot of like legend and lore, and you don't really know, or do you know, if dragon riders were a symbol of something or if they truly were dragon riders. But the legends go that her spirit still haunts the Dragon's Tower to this day, and that she actually did have children of her own, because there are so many people, specifically the House Mete, which is the house that is currently leading Odessin. They firmly believe that they are the children of Krishna as well as the blood of the dragon, meaning they believe they have her blood and dragon blood in their veins, which adds to just so much cool lore and legend and conversation with them when we introduce them later on in the series. So it was once a penal colony, like I said, for the undesirables and criminals. This happened very quickly after Krishna died. This happened during the Alvarian Age, which was their age. Once they determined, once 0 AC occurred and Krishna was dead, after that point, they just decided nobody wants to live here. It's very tragic. It's very bad. We're just going to be a prison for people. And that's what it was for hundreds and hundreds of years. So fast forward to 390 AC, the Great Civil War begins, led by Craigie. So Craigie kind of goes to them and goes, hey, nudge, nudge, we hate the current king. We don't like what's happening. We don't like these landlines that have been drawn. You should team up with us. We'll help you escape from prison, become free. We're just going to be our ally in this war, and we're all going to become free. Odessin and everybody in this prison says, hell yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to become allies. So the war ends. Craigie does not get their freedom. Nobody does. Surrenders occur. There's lots of plague and famine. I have a whole pre-series I want to write about this. And first King Lucarius, he names himself first king to delegitimize all the kings beforehand. He says, you know what, Craigie, y'all get to still exist to an extent. We'll talk about that in another video. I think I might have actually talked about it in the Craigie video. Odessin, because you lay down your arms and you basically betrayed Craigie, if you just leave us alone and you stop fighting, you'll become your own country. And we'll get rid of this prison. And they all said, bet. That's fine with me. We're good with that. Well, the last battle of the Great Civil War was called the Darkest Night, where all the stars fell out of the sky at once and turned the world into pitch blackness. And that was fought on the land of 1,000 rivers, where people believe to this day spirits of their ancestors walk and haunt that land, as well as blood flows just as equally and evenly in the land as the water does. So because Craigie and Odessin were the main allies together against the king, they had a lot of death and a lot of just loss in this final battle. And so it became a very, very holy land because so many people died. And it originally was part of Craigie's land. And first King Lucarius said, well, we got to give some land to Odessin, so we're just going to start cutting stuff up. And we got to give some land to some other people who I owe favors to, so we're going to cut more up. So Craigie had to split this holy land that was theirs for a long time up with Odessin, their allies, who at the very end of it kind of were just like, okay, fine, we're done. Never mind. You're gonna give us freedom, king. We got you. We'll stop fighting. And that treaty, that allyship with Craigie ended immediately. And since 390 AC, it's like 690 AC, 690 something AC right now in the book series. They've been like sworn enemies, believing that they both deserve this land, and the other one doesn't. And so fast forward to, there's this age of rebuilding and unity. More civil war happens, more royal civil war happens, people fight for a throne. Throughout all of this, right, Odessin, it becomes this very highly educated, highly coveted, rich land. These people who fought for their freedom and won it through any means possible, broke their chains, said, and we will never believe in chains again. And they build a citadel, and it becomes one of the most highly coveted citadels in the country, in the continent. And people travel all over the country all over the countries to go educate themselves at the citadel. And it's the citadel as in proper noun, while Britia, the capital, Illyria, the king's city, does have an amazing hall of archives and citadel in there. It is not as robust and amazing as the one in Odessin. Odessin basically just decided wisdom is our power. Wisdom is our tool. Wisdom is what we will win with and remain not independent but free in a certain way with. So there's about 3.5 million people, BT dubs, in Odessin. So there's a lot of folks. And while they do follow the star houses, the divine houses, that they are legally required to per the church and the state, it is highly coveted in that country to become either a dragon warrior, dragon being a proper noun, or become a healer, herbalist, scientist. In regards to that, it's so coveted to become somebody of high intellect that their house words of House Mete, the house that rules over Odessin, is power, wisdom, strength. Long form, power and strength are found with the greatest of wisdom. They firmly believe like the pen is mightier than the sword, essentially. They have proximity to a lot of things because of their location. So they have huge port cities. They're located near the Isles of Ashar, and they bring a lot of goods from the Isles inland. They bring a lot of their goods, more luxury goods. So think like fine silks. They have these amazing desert war horses they breed. Again, lots of like jewels, finely crafted goods, lots of the riches. So the king wants, whoever's on the throne always wants Odessin on their side, because Odessin can literally be like, sorry, you're getting like none of your gold anymore because we are the only country that can truly actually be mined for it. So be nice to us, kind of thing. On the flip side of goods they create, you could consider the dragon army, again, proper noun, a good. So just like every other army, they have, you know, the foot soldiers, the standard infantry, what have you. Think of the dragon army as like special ops. They have a small army too, by the way. It's at any time their standing army is about 20,000, but they prefer people fighting with their intellect and doing other things versus fighting. But they train their soldiers so well. 20,000 soldiers is a lot, and they can fight pretty damn good. They prefer long-range combat, so they actually have a lot of, because of the value, strength, and wisdom, and they're leaders in innovation. They have a lot of fire-breathing, dragon-esque style weapons, long-range weapons. They don't care if they don't see the face of their enemy before they kill them. They're just like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I killed them and I won. Of the 20,000, only about 5,000 dragon warriors exist. They are the best of the best. Like I said, like special ops style trained. So like highly coveted to be intelligent. They have a lot of highly coveted goods, high-end goods, silks, tropical fruits on the coast as well. They have a lot of ports and guilds. They deal a lot with the pirates up on the northwest. I'm going to talk about them when they get introduced in book 3. So that's teasing you to keep reading because there are pirates and some of them are lesbians. So back to some quick lore. So how a lot of people believe they are the blood of Krishna, the unforgiving, the blood of the dragon. A lot of them do believe that dragons did exist and may still exist, but the dragons have essentially disappeared because they deemed humans no longer worthy of dragons being around. They also believe that the volcanic eruptions that have happened in the mountains were the dragons waking up and trying to seek vengeance. There's a ton of other like secrets and legends and lore involving underground secret caves. I'm going to leave it at that you see in book 2, that I think is just really, really awesome and fun regarding Odessin. The two main houses, and by main I mean the two that you're really truly going to be introduced to the most in the series, and that is House Mete, the house that sits on the Lord Throne, as well as House Furia, which is the home of the house of Madame Fury, who leads the army, and she, I'm so gay. So in book 1 you hear more about this house called House Mete, and Lord Nesma Mete, we need to write to him, we being the king and his allies, to get him to send his dragons and his army down here to help us out and to wipe all these people out so we can end this war before it truly begins. Like I said, they are one of the houses that believes that they are the blood of Krishna, the unforgiving, and the blood of the dragon. And they take this to a whole other level with this dragon imagery, dragon likeness throughout everything. Their symbol of the country is a dragon head surrounded by a scale wreath. The highest and most respected and honored people can get dragons tattooed on them. If you break your honor, you will have that skin burned off of you. Yeah. So, okay, so House Furia is the house of Madame Fury, the leader and the total hottie badass of the dragon army of Odessin. So through the line of House Furia, for generations, there's always been the leader of the army has come from that house. They're either called Madam or Master Fury, depending on their gender or their preference, if they are non-binary. And their surname was chosen by them. House Furia, linguistics that we can get into in another video, kind of translates to Fury. So that's why you call them Madam or Master Fury, but their name is actually Furia. Their house sigil is a flame, is We Are the Dragon's Fury. This house firmly believes 100% 10 toes down, every ounce of their being, that they are here to enact the dragon's fury and the fury of the dragon species upon humanity. But they don't really talk about it that much because it's kind of like, that kind of would scare some people. But that's who they actually are. They truly believe they are the blood of the dragons. They will bring dragons back to existence. So I want to keep a lot of that under wraps because you do learn more about this country in book 2. But yeah, that is the country of Odessin and the two major houses, House Furia and House Mete. that hail from this region, and they are steeped in a lot of secrecy and smoke and hidden tunnels and lies and manipulation and coded words. So I don't know how to do outros. That took forever to film because of the animals interrupting me constantly, and then I was getting frustrated and stressed out, and I kept screwing up. So it's gonna be a little choppy. It's a little choppy. I had to chop off a lot of like groans and annoyance, and then my nose wouldn't stop itching and I couldn't stop sneezing. So anyway, you don't need to know all about that. Side note, before I leave, I got more books in. You can buy books wherever the books are sold. You can buy my books wherever the books are sold online. I prefer you try to support your own indie bookstore by ordering through them in whatever fashion they order books from, or you can just order directly from my site if you want. Book 2 comes out end of March, beginning of April. I have to pick the date, which means I have to hurry up and finish filming this so I can get back to finishing my edits, and then I can send it off to the printing house folks. So that's all I got. I'm going to go check on the animals because I know they're really sad that I locked them out because they were driving me crazy, but they were being so cute. So yeah, that's some more cool Map Goofin. Thanks for hanging out, and I'm gonna let my ADHD decide the next one because I was actually supposed to do a different one for this one, but my ADHD didn't want to. Okay, bye!